Guys, it's Elise again, and I'm coming at you with a little bit of a different video. It is my summer reading list. Now, I realized when I'm collecting these books that I'm actually missing 3 of my books on my summer reading list, but I'll come to those when I get to them. So, I have really been into for a long time now historical fiction or biographies. So, in the fall, I read Catherine the Great, and it was phenomenal. I loved that book. I was enthralled in it from the beginning to the very end. She's a fascinating woman, so if you want, it's a bit of a bigger book, so if you want a bit of a longer read, I'd suggest that, but that's not in my summer reading list. So the first one I got was Marie Antoinette. I was actually inspired to buy this book from the movie Marie Antoinette. I watched it with a girlfriend one of my nights in, and I loved it. I thought she was so fascinating. So I know that that was fiction. I know it wasn't really based off of facts necessarily, so I wanted to see how it differed. So I picked that up. I haven't started it, but I will let you know if it's really good. I actually got this one, Her Fearful Symmetry. This is a lighter read. It's intense, but I go through it pretty fast. It's not very difficult to understand, and it's pretty short. The writing's fairly large in it. Now, I actually have already read this this summer. I went through it like my first week, I think, of summer break. It's really, really good. It's about twins and their lives and how they differ from one another, and then it has a bit of a plot twist at the end, which I really thought was entertaining. So that's a really good book. I suggest you get that if you're into a little bit of mystery, a little bit of a darker plot line. It's really good. I would suggest it to be about 14 and up to read, just because there is a little bit of iffy circumstances for the younger girls. So another one that I picked up to read, I actually borrowed this from my sister. She read it in high school and she had never gotten rid of it, and so I wanted to read it this summer. So that's Les Mis. I've never seen the performance of Les Mis. I don't know, like I've never really watched it, I've never read it, but it's supposed to be amazing, and it's supposed to be one of those books that is life-changing for you, and I'm in a part of my life where I find that books that have a more intense structure to them is more entertaining for me, just personally. So I picked that up. American Dervish. This I have not read, but I'm extremely excited to read it. I think it's more of a fluff book. I think that there's some intense concepts in it, but the storyline and how things come to be, I think, is a little bit more of a summer relaxed, lay on the beach kind of read. So, it's about a boy who falls in love with his mom's friend, and how she introduces him to his religion, and how he falls out of it when she starts dating somebody else. So it is a love story, but it does have a lot of interesting concepts revolving around religion and family and things like that. Then I got Little Bones. This is completely a fluff read. It's just about a man and his wife and their performances on stage, essentially. So she has a bit of a physical disability, and so she helps the other girls that perform on stage in plays and etc. How she gets them ready and how it's about her life. I don't know. It's a fluff book. It's not anything too intense. It's nothing too long. The writing's pretty large, actually, in it. But it seems really cute, so I got that. This I have already been reading, and I suggest it to practically anybody. It is a little bit darker, so if you are scared easily or upset easily, then maybe it's not the book for you, but it is Flowers in the Attic. Now, I know this is not a new book. I know that they've made a movie about this. I've never seen the movie. I didn't know they made one. My friend had actually read it a couple summers ago and had suggested it to me, but I couldn't find it anywhere. It was completely gone off all the shelves, just MIA. And I was actually in search of a different book when I came across this one, and I had to get it. And I started reading it a day or two ago, and I'm already 57 pages in, and I've only been reading it for a couple hours, and it is amazing. It is so fascinating. The writing is really, really good. The characters are extremely interesting. So it's about a girl and her siblings and how their dad dies and how their life alters completely, and they have to be hidden for this you're not quite sure why, but it slowly gets revealed to you in this book. It is amazing. I will review each book as I read them, by the way. I'll let you know what I think of it, who I suggest it for, and things like that. So this will probably be the first one you guys see. You'll probably see it in a couple days because I'm not quite putting that down. So I got this book, Orange is the New Black. I'm sure most all of you have heard this. It's a show on Netflix if you don't know, but I love it. The first season I was really interested in it. I kind of fell out of it in the second season. In the third season though, I was fascinated. That's when Ruby Rose came in, and we all love her because God, that woman is beautiful. I don't actually really like Piper Chapman in the show, so I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting, and I did love the fact that it was based off of this woman's life, her actual physical experiences. So I wanted to read that just to see. Based on the show, I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit of a lighter read, filled with a lot of humor and a lot of things like that. So I got that. Then I got The Queen's Fool. This isn't quite based off of a real person like Marie Antoinette, but it is the same kind of concept where it's based off of a woman who came to power or came near power. And it's in the, I think this one takes place in the late 1700s, I think. I'm not sure, I haven't read it yet, but I'll let you know. And then I got Fallen Women, who, I'm almost done this book. I only have a couple chapters left. I stopped to read the other one actually. This is really interesting. It's really light. It's kind of just like a love story slash mystery novel. It's about a girl and her sister gets murdered, and then she's trying to help a detective find out who killed her sister. There's a little bit of content. It's not graphic, but there is a lot of violence in it and a lot of mature concepts in it. So I wouldn't personally, I would give it a rating of like 15 or up, because by that time you're kind of introduced to all these concepts anyway, so it's not really hurting your innocence at all. So then I got Harper Lee's Go Set A Watchmen. This is brand new, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for this book. I never got to read To Kill a Mockingbird in school. I always thought that I would, but I took the International Baccalaureate program in high school, so we had a completely different set of books and criteria that we got to go through, and this was not on it. And this year, Harper Lee came out with a prequel to the book To Kill a Mockingbird. And I was talking to one of my English teachers, and her and I get along very, very well. We're very similar in characteristics, and we discussed how she read To Kill a Mockingbird first, obviously, because she's taught it, and now she's going to read To Go Set A Watchmen, and I'm going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to read To Go Set A Watchmen and then To Kill a Mockingbird, because this does technically, well, it doesn't technically come first, but it comes first in the storyline, and we're going to compare how the story differs because of those two different perspectives that you're reading in it. So I'm thrilled to be reading this. This is going to probably be the next one on my list after I finish Flowers in the Attic, so I will let you know what I think about this and if I'm disappointed or not. So the three books that I don't actually physically have here with me. Number one, Blue Castle. I've read that twice this summer. It is phenomenal. I'm very excited about it. It's I don't know if you guys would have read Emily of New Moon. That's quite a few years ago now. Probably if you were in your 20s, you probably read that as a girl. I loved Emily of New Moon. I identified with her so much. So it's the same kind of concept, but it's about a girl that's older. She's 28, 29. in the story, and it is amazing. I think that that book is for girls of any age, any point in your life. You'll get different things out of it. I got different things out of it both times I've read it. It is absolutely spectacular. It is heartwarming and hilarious, and you love and hate characters in that book. I identified so much with the main girl, and I detested her mother and her cousin, and you know, like, it really pulled you in. It's a really quick read. I think I read it in 3 days. It's very, very fast. It's not a long book at all, but I do suggest it for anybody of any different age. I suggest you read it maybe when you're younger and when you're older, just because there is so much that you could take out of it. So I have that actually on my iPad, so that's why I don't have it here with me. And then my second book that I wanted to get is To Kill a Mockingbird, actually. But they didn't have it in the store when I got to go Set A Watchmen, so I'm going to get that later on because I have to read that one first anyways. So I'll tell you how I think of that. And then Cleopatra is the actual third book that I was reading before I stopped that as well to read Flowers in the Attic. Cleopatra is, it's a fictional, or not, sorry, it's a non-fiction book. It is based off of facts of Cleopatra's life, although it's very vague because there aren't a whole lot of facts about her that are definite. There's a lot of different perspectives there, and so it acknowledges the flaws in the story and stuff. Cleopatra was a badass. She was so cool. I'm so excited to finish reading about her. She's an idol for a lot of women. Well, she did a lot of terrible things, but being said, in the time period that she was in, she killed it. She rocked it. She got a lot of power and authority, and she's won a lot of battles, influenced a lot of people. She's changed history for a lot of countries, and I think she's spectacular. She's a woman in history that knew her stuff and knew how to rule. So I'm excited to finish reading about her. And that's actually it for my summer reading list. So every time I finish a book, I will upload just a quickie little 2 or 3 minute video telling you whether or not I recommend it, whether or not I thought it was any kind of good, or the age limits that I suggest it to be around. But I will let you know as I go through them. I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.